Back on the show is Bryan Fischer. He's the host of Focal Point, also director of issue analysis for the American Family Association. Bryan, you've been on the show before, and we've had conversations that have been very specific in nature. The number of cells wide that the rectal wall is, gay porn, homosexuality, all these things. And I want to, if possible, take a step back from that. And this week we've been talking to a number of religious conservatives about what I identify, and you may disagree, as a tide that is going in the direction of progressive social values. And we see this with marijuana decriminalization, support for marriage equality, support for abortion, more than 50% support for abortion for the first time that it's ever been polled. Do you agree? I know you don't like those policies, but do you agree with the trend that I'm identifying?
You know, there's no question that there's a cultural shift, but when you're talking about the grassroots of the Republican Party, you're talking about the people that get their friends out to vote, that make the phone calls, that make the small donations to keep the Republican Party going. Those people haven't budged on their values, and it would be a major mistake for the leadership of the Republican Party to stick their finger in the wind, think they know which way the wind is blowing, and then wind up with nobody following them. That would be an absolute catastrophe. It'd be total suicide for the Republican Party if it abandoned these core values. They would be finished as a political force in America.
Right. Now, we've covered, you've said it, and I think Tony Perkins has said it, and a number of others have said that if the Republican Party continues to moderate on these social issues, that they risk losing people like you. You've said that before. The problem is that if they don't moderate on those issues, they're going to lose people anyway, right? If we look at demographic shifts that are taking place combined with the direction of this polling, either way, it's not gonna bode well.
No, the problem, David, that's where your analysis is wrong. The problem with the election in 2012 is that the Republicans ran a moderate on many of these issues, and conservatives just didn't turn out. 4 million conservative voters stayed home because Mitt Romney did not do anything to excite them. They did not think he was a genuine conservative. They did not believe he believed in our values, would represent them, would advocate for them. I mean, Mitt Romney's the godfather of gay marriage in the United States. So conservative voters in 2012 just stayed home. So moderating for the Republican Party is a suicide mission. And I go back to the founding of the Republican Party back in 1854. And David, what you're saying is what the Republican Party should have done in 1856 or 1858 or 1860. They should have moderated on the issue of slavery. They should have realized they're just out of phase with where the American people are at. This is not a recipe to win elections. The American people are not with you on the containment and abolition of slavery. You need to moderate your view on that. Well, thank God, Abraham Lincoln and the leadership of the Republican Party didn't listen to those nattering nabobs of negativism, and consequently slavery was abolished as an institution. That's why the Republican Party, they've got core values. They need to stick with them.
Well, I want to actually get to that, the historical context of social conservatism. But before that, I don't know that the numbers agree with what you're suggesting. In other words, if the Republican Party, instead of moderating, as you claim, goes hard right, the problem is every poll indicates that those values are no longer supported. So, for example, NBC Wall Street Journal poll, majority for the first time want abortion to be legal. 7 in 10 oppose overturning Roe v. Wade. Historic high support for gay marriage in an ABC News Washington Post poll, 58%. If the Republican Party goes hard right, voters don't support those values.
Well, the trouble is, David, if they moderate, they're just Democrat light. Why would anybody want to vote for low-cal Democrat when you could vote for the real thing?
I totally agree with you, but the problem is the numbers you don't have voters on the hard right. You'll get the people that are the base. It's just not enough people.
So, David, let me get this straight. You're giving us advice. You're giving conservatives advice.
No, I'm not giving advice at all. I'm curious what the thought process is. I mean, you're an extreme social, religious conservative. You're anti-gay. On every issue, you're on the right. What is the move? Mathematically, I'm not seeing a path to victory.
Well, Maggie Thatcher said consensus is an absence of leadership. What the Republican Party needs are conservative leaders that believe in the party platform. I just believe in the Republican Party platform. And we just need leaders that actually believe in the party's own platform. They won't waver. They won't bend. They'll declare those values. They will defend those values. The problem is that we have leaders of the Republican Party that don't have clue one about how to defend the values that are enshrined in their own platform. And because they don't know how to articulate a well-rounded, defensible conservatism, they just fold when the pressure is on. We need guys like Ronald Reagan that paint with bold colors, that don't apologize. Ronald Reagan was out of phase with the leadership of his own party.
I mean, Ronald Reagan today would be a centrist. Ronald Reagan would not even have much of a place in today's Republican Party. I don't know that he's really the guy to look at.
No, I think you're just mistaken about that, David. Ronald Reagan was conservative at a time when the Republican leadership was not. He didn't bend on his principles. His message resonated with the American people. And that's what we need, is we just need conservative leaders that actually believe in our message, believe in our values, believe that they're good for America, believe that they resonate with something deep in the American soul, and just go out there and declare and defend our values, and they'll be just fine electorally.
Hey, Bryan, I'm curious, what examples do we have in history where the social, religious, conservative point of view was eventually the victor? So when I think back, right, I think of, we go all the way back to Copernican theory, right? The church and the religious movement was against that even being discussed. Now we, of course, know that the sun is at the center of our solar system. Interracial marriage, slavery, as you alluded to, women voting, blacks in the military, affirmative action, abortion, all of these things eventually have been legal and or vindicated as factually correct. What evidence do we have that social conservatism has ever been right on any issue?
Well, let's go back to the issue of slavery. Which was the party that abolished the institution of slavery?
Yeah, but Bryan, any true scholar of politics knows that just because it was called a Republican in Abraham Lincoln's time, it has nothing to do with today's Republican Party. That's a disingenuous analysis.
Well, you're asking for history, David. I just gave you history.
But you're talking about political parties. I'm talking about the religious, social, conservative position. They're two different things. Parties have shifted over time.
But religious conservatives, David, formed the heart and soul of the abolitionist movement. It was religious conservatives that drove the energy to fight the institution of slavery. Even PBS did a documentary on this, and they admitted that the abolitionist movement was a faith-driven movement. Social conservatives, evangelical conservative Christians are the ones that drove that entire effort.
But so there you go. Slavery is your one example, I guess you're saying.
What's that?
So slavery is the one example that you're pointing to.
Well, you're asking for an historical example. I just gave you one. Okay. The Democrat Party, David, fought slavery in the 1860s. They fought the Republican Party when they advanced the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment. A greater majority of Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Acts of 1964 and 65. Those were advanced by the Republican Party over the objections of white Democrats.
But Bryan, I know you know that the party designations before the civil rights movement have reversed, and it's not accurate to say that because it was called a Democrat in the 1800s, it's the party that today is of President Obama, for example. We both know that.
Well, that's fine, David. If you want to change definitions in the middle of our conversation to try to
oh, come on, Bryan, you're very good. You're very good at doing that, but everybody can see through it. I appreciate what you're doing because you are good at it, and I like that you're trying to do that. But you know that I'm not changing definitions. The party association's reversed. You know that.
You're trying to change the definition of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party in mid-sentence. That's exactly what you're trying to do. If you get away with that, you'll win every argument you're involved in.
I love it. I love it, Bryan.
Let you play with it.
Just out of curiosity, what's it like to hang out with you, like outside of your political work? Like, do you go grocery shopping? Do you watch TV? Do you have casual conversations with people? Like, what's a TV show you like?
You mean what do I do in my spare time?
Yeah, or like, what's a TV show that you like right now? Is there a TV show you like?
I'm a pretty big Netflix guy.
Okay.
I love watching movies, so I'll probably watch almost a movie a day on Netflix. Really, I like the show Mad Men, for instance. I find that very entertaining, well acted. I mean, the values obviously suck on that program.
Of course.
I enjoy the quality of the acting. The storylines are gripping to me. The characters are engaging. So I enjoy Mad Men.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Have you ever done yoga?
No.
Do you do exercise? You play like a team sport or anything?
Well, I love to walk. Walking is great exercise for the body, soul, and mind. And I love to play golf. I got out and play golf once or twice a week. I played a little golf in college, and in fact, I was my claim to fame is I was for one brief shining year on the same golf team, same college golf team with Tom Watson. I was on the freshman team. He was on the varsity team. So sort of technically we were on the same team. But I do enjoy playing golf.
And what about music? Like, do you like Justin Bieber, or what's your musical taste?
Nah, I'm a 60s guy. I like late 50s, mid-60s, early 60s music.
Huh. Okay. You like the Beatles?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Bryan Fischer likes the Beatles. Fascinating. Well, listen, Bryan, I'm fascinated by everything that you have going on over there at Focal Point and the American Family Association. I think it's an interesting discussion we had. I'm glad we were able to stay away from the minutia of gay sex and just talk more broadly about what's going on with social conservatism. So thank you for being on. I do appreciate it.
You're sure welcome, David, anytime.
Okay, take care.